Yes, good morning and welcome back with Step Up with Simply Greg. Once again, as you already know, Step Up with Simply Greg is all about elevating the mind and empowering you to make a change one step at a time. Today, we're speaking to the amazing Ashley J, who's been talking to us about his journey, working with MTV Bass and doing so many other things, hip-hop dramas, and also introducing amazing artists like Usher and so forth, as you mentioned, and Black Eyed Peas, and working with Live Nation as well in the Middle East, which is obviously amazing how all of these things have come across to you, and you've just been so natural and so open-hearted as well with how you flow, and there's a good positive nature about you in general.
Thank you.
Yeah, from what I see, you're not a bad mind person like with just like black clouds over you.
Nah. That takes a lot of energy to be bad mind.
Exactly. So in your journey, obviously, for some, like you mentioned earlier on, some may mistake it to be like, okay, he's lucky, things have just worked out for him, or the stars have aligned. That's why he's went from one to the next to the next. What were some of the challenges that you faced during that period of time that you had to overcome yourself in order to keep that momentum going to build that success to be where you are at the moment?
Definitely lack of work is a big thing. And the first couple years of having my agent, I was going from theatre to TV to theatre to theatre to tour. And I was like, oh, this is all right.
Light work.
Yeah, it was going. And then all of a sudden, started to dry up.
Okay.
And I remember, and I had patches of it. And I was like, it's going to be okay. Or I used to teach as well, so I'd go and teach some drama classes and dance classes. And I loved that as well. I really enjoyed working with other young people and just learning from them as well. Yeah. So it was, again, doing something I enjoyed and getting paid as a bonus. But I remember at the beginning of 2012, I had no work. This was the biggest one. I remember it because I had a really good few years. So for those who are self-employed, we know we pay our tax in January. So I got taxed very heavily. Wow. And then I had no income for about 4 or 5 months, no joke. And I remember sitting down at the computer trying to find stuff. And I remember thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do. And there was a fire service job for like events management. I thought I might as well do that. And I remember, I've never told this story before. I remember crying as I was filling out the application. Because I'd never filled out an application for, I guess,
something
say,
outside of
I know people say normal job, and I think every job is normal, you know.
But it's outside of your creativity,
exactly, outside of my remit, outside of my creativity. And I was just remember crying and just thinking, like feeling like I'd given up on myself. Yeah. And that's when something switched on me. Yeah. Like a no to a job when you audition for it is not a no to you. And a friend of mine at the time, he's still my friend.
Sorry, friend, if this is how you find out.
Kyle Smith by know, whose career is going amazing as well. He's filming another show at the moment, but he was out of work as well, and he was like stressing, and we just sat down and thought, well, what are we going to do? Like, we want to make something, let's make it. And he had an idea, and we started talking about it, and we made a spoof of Come Dine With Me, called Come Dine With Man. And anyway, what the point of that story is that I had no's, in the sense of people say, oh, I had an audition, and they said no. I didn't even get an audition. They weren't even getting me in the room. They were saying no to that. So if you allow someone to say no to your life without even have met you, they haven't met you, they've just seen your picture or your CV, they don't know you, they don't know your characteristics. If you're allowing that no to become a yes, to say yes, you shouldn't do this, then you can't do that. That no has to turn into, okay, they've said no, great, I've got some free time, I've got freedom, I've got creativity, what am I going to make? And when you start making stuff and putting it out there, like Come Dine With Man, I mean, it got like about 40,000 hits the first episode. And it was the first thing we'd put out on YouTube, really, proper thing. And it just blew up and created more stuff for us. And it got me connections at BBC Radio 1 Extra and etc. But it's those kind of things there. So my biggest thing is that whoever it is, when someone tells you no, obviously, if your parent says no, don't run in a road, there's a reason for that. But if someone's saying to you no about something you want to achieve and try, look at that and go, okay, that person said no. Whatever it is, I auditioned for, I don't know, this TV series, didn't get it. okay, does that mean I'm never going to have another opportunity? No, go for it. Make something. Write your own story. If you want to be in something that you're not getting opportunity for,
create the opportunity.
That's it. And that's my thing. Like, without, like, I guess every year of my life, I create shows, I create content, I create opportunities for myself. And sometimes nothing comes from it but energy. And I want other people to understand that.
That's a good one.
Nothing comes from it but energy. And energy is so important, because the energy in me makes me go, yes, I can do this. I feel good, because for me as an artist, I need to create. I need to perform. That's the desire as an artist. I don't need to be paid from it, you know, or I don't want to be paid.
To keep yourself going. And
to keep myself going, you know, to stay creatively fit.
That's it.
And if you want to do something, you need to put yourself into it and immerse yourself in that. So for me, when I create things, like I created a Christmas music video, a Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
So, and it's all about the things that people never really talk about at Christmas. There's always an uncle you don't want to see, or a cousin you don't like, or the crusty present you get. So it was all about that. If people want to see it, it's on my Instagram, so they can check it out. But what I'm saying about that, like, nothing came from it. I had people all over my house. You know, my wife was like just messed around for the day because she couldn't really do stuff. I actually cooked a Christmas dinner, and we actually ate Christmas dinner and shot it and put it out. And we actually released a video while I was in Saudi Arabia doing the Usher concert.
Wow.
But for me, the energy that came from that made me feel good. A lot of people felt good, and that had a buzz. And that energy, people feel the ripples of that energy, which will lead to opportunities.
And that's what I said, obviously, before the ad break as well, that you just vibe, you know, and, you know, switch on that camera, do what you do, and you keep yourself, like you said, creatively fit. You know, whereas other people would be like, okay, because someone hasn't employed me or commissioned me for that particular task, I'm not good enough. It's almost like you put yourself on a shelf, you know, rather than realizing, no, keep going. Because when you put yourself on a shelf, you're now drying up, and you're not as, you know, as you don't have the vibe flowing anymore. And then when you are taken for a job, you're not really as confident as you could have been if you kept yourself creatively fit.
And you can't lose your love for it. You can't, like, and that's why I think you should be in control. And so for me, you know, no's are not yet, or not at this time. That's why I look at that no. It's the same letters that it starts with. Not at this time. Go for this, and you'll find another way through. You know, there's so many things I've wanted to do, and when I finally got there to perform in front of 30,000 people, I was ready for it, because I've put in more creative energy. I've done this, I've done that. I've built my content, built my craft. You know what I mean? If you're, you know, it's that simple, that if you're training for a swimming race and you spend every day rowing, you're not going to win that race, you know, because you're going to have to move some different muscles and flex a different way. And so for me, that's what you really have to do. And it isn't easy. I'm not sitting here saying it's easy, which is why I started this story by saying I was crying applying for that job. But let me tell you now, I have never cried over a job that I didn't get as an actor. I've been upset by stuff, but I've never ever cried over it, because I know there's going to be more opportunities that come. And so for me, I know that the most important thing is doing what I love. It keeps me sane. It keeps me happy. My wife prefers me happy. I prefer me happy. You know,
your son prefers you.
My son prefers me happy. You know, and that energy is right. And I just want to collaborate and work with people to do stuff. And you know, it's really tricky for those, you know, anyone listening right now. If you're passionate about something that you do for a living, that's what's tricky, because it does become personal, and you have to at some point go, as much as you love what you do, this is a job. This aspect is a job. This part is my passion. And yes, you have your passion, and yes, you have your job, and sometimes they come together. Sometimes you're paid to do what you love, but other times, if you're passionate and you want to make something, go out there and make it. Because I'm telling you, I keep saying it, but that energy will cause a ripple effect. And I didn't believe it for a few years, and I've seen it. I've seen things that I've done 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, people calling me and going, oh, you did this, can I work with you on that? And then you get the reparations, do you know what I mean? It pays off. You reap what you sow, you know, and that's how it goes. But it is hard, but keep going. Have a down day, have a Netflix binge, and then get on it.
Get back on it.
Yeah.
How do you address the fears?
Do you know what? I've had a lot of good people in my life. My auntie Jo, who is an actor and producer as well, which helps as well. we had a conversation, and I was saying, "Oh, Auntie Joe, I can't remember exactly what it was about." And she just looked at me. I remember we were sitting in the car. She held my hands. She said, "Baby, you feel the fear and you do it anyway. You embrace it." And that fear, guys, the fear is not fear of failing. It is fear of succeeding.
That's it.
What if it works out? What if it goes right? And I'm not going to sit here and lie and go, sometimes my fear doesn't get the better of me. It does. The show that I'm doing next Friday, my production coordinator, who I can't point because she's hiding in the corner, but my production coordinator, I phoned her up and said, "Look, the Rich Mix venue have given me this opportunity. I don't know, it's the first time doing something solely by myself. I don't think so." She's like, "What? Shut up. Of course you can do this. We're doing it. Just tell them yes. Confirm the date." So
you can see he's an actor in there, doing the impression already.
So sometimes you just need the right team around you, because I'm afraid that my show, I'm afraid no one's going to come to my show next week. I'm
like, you're the only person, you come in like,
it's just me performing to me, you know. And yes, there's other aspects of it, but when you have the right team and the right people around you, not people to just hype you to kill your fear, because that's not a good way of doing it. You need people that go, "I understand why you're afraid, but look at these things, look at what you can do, let's make a plan, let's strategize." And that starts to make you go, "Okay, cool, the fear's still there, but there's a plan." Because fear has a motive. Fear and resistance. I read a really good book called The War of Art. I just finished it at the beginning of this year, and it's all about resistance. Whether you're creative or not, I would say read it, because once you understand resistance, you understand what it does. And resistance will make you think you're tired, make you think you need to rest, will make you think, "Oh, I deserve this," or "Oh, it's too much," or "They don't want me." Resistance will make you think all these things. Resistance will even make you think you're too good for something. And that's all fear and resistance. And you have to combat that. And as soon as you start to combat it and just go, "I'm going to do one little thing." It might be one thing you do. I'm just going to write the first thing I need to do. I'm going to, whatever it is, I'm going to write the synopsis of my play.
That's it.
You've written that down, then you take the step. I'm going to write a paragraph. Do it small and small. And before you know it, fear will start to edge away. You know what I mean? And it's Will Smith who said greatness is on the edge of destruction. And it's when you feel like you're going to fall is when you fly, because you're so close.
Wow. That's a powerful one there. So thank you very much for having shared so much with us so far, Ashley. Now, you're telling us about certain things that you've also done to, before the ad break, in order to overcome the fears, and the vulnerable times. You said it's about having good company around you as well. What other things have you done, that has enabled you to go from where you was to where you are at the moment, and also maintaining that? Because I love what you talked about. You've got the event coming up. You were scared, but when you was taking one step at a time, it enabled you to overcome that fear, because now you can see a plan, even though the fear still exists. What other things have you been able to do for yourself that other people can also apply?
One of the things I do is, if it's getting a bit too much with my fears, is I find other things that I enjoy that's a different creative outlet. So two things that I enjoy is exercise. So I'll just go to the gym and do that and just shut off. And what I find with that is sometimes your subconscious is still working. Then the idea will come to you, or the how to solve it, how to find that solution. The other thing I do is I love cooking. So I'll cook.
Go on.
I'll throw down, man. I'll throw down in the kitchen, man.
He throws it down.
I'll throw down in the kitchen, man. If you come to my house, I'm feeding for you. I'm feeding you.
That's an invitation. You guys have got that. That was on camera. He better be throwing down. Because I'll have it on camera.
Film it.
I like Ashley's throw down.
Sandwich. No butter. And the crust is still on.
True same. I was all thinking of some tantalizing chicken. Some
sandwich, bro.
Salmon.
Bad man with beans and toast. No, I'm good.
You can keep the invite.
No, I'm a really good cook. I am a really good cook. So, but that's something that I do to overcome it if I've got barriers and obstacles. And the other thing I try and do, which I think anyone can apply this, is something really simple that every year I try and work with 3 companies I've worked with before. And I try and work with 3 new companies. So it means I'm maintaining old relationships, but I'm also going out there and making new ones and building new ones.
I love that idea, because especially in this generation, microwave generations, everyone's so focused on just conquering and moving from one to the next moving, but not about relationships, building relationships. And like you said, and it's good that you've got it strategically within your plan of development, because as you're maintaining that and you're growing and you're also still maintaining whatever's leading you towards obviously your fulfillment and purpose.
And it enhances you, and not just and it furthers you as an individual, not just your career.
Yes.
For example, met you at an event, started talking. Now, fast forward, I don't know what it was, maybe 6 months later, I'm on the radio talking to you. But as much as this is like a great move for you, it's a great move for me. I'm learning about me and learning what works. What is it? Because parts of information that I'm giving and dropping out to people are things that have worked to me, and it might be things like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, or I forgot I did that. So those things, by maintaining and building those relationships, you build so much more. This whole kind of, I don't know, kind of like, oh yeah, I'm going to hit onto that and quit that because I've done it already. I worked to that company, so it's fine, it's on my CV. I don't think that's really the best way, especially in the creative industry, because things come back. There's people that I haven't worked with for maybe 10 years that called me to do a booking, that literally, and that's really interesting. That literally happened. Like I've got a show this weekend that someone I hadn't worked with for years called me and said, doing this thing, I need you in it, can you do it? Now for me, even though I haven't worked with them in 10 years, I've still spoken to them, touched base with them, see how you're doing. Oh, I know that person's going to be at an event, I'll go down and just chat to them and stuff as well. And it's not a thing, because some people might be like, oh, you're moving like some kind of no.
I was going to say that as well. It's not mechanically kind of like calling someone for no reason, just like I tick the box.
Exactly.
It's a natural relationship.
Exactly. And also what I believe as well is to overcome obstacles as well, is sometimes people might think, why is this not happening? Why is no one helping me out? Why is no one bringing me in? Stop thinking about what people can do for you and start thinking what you can do for yourself and what you can do for them. So there's a producer promoter I know who she's known me since I was a teenager doing stuff, and she's booked me for a couple things, but not really in a while. But every time we just keep bumping into each other, like at events and stuff, at the same stuff. And my show I'm doing next week, I sent her a message and I said, look, I really love for you to come to the show, and I want to give you a couple free tickets just to say thank you for all the times you have booked me, because I've never done that. And she went, I'm coming. Now, I want her there, but I also want her there to know that I appreciate you being there. It's not like I can go, hey, I'm going to give 100 free tickets to everyone. I can't. But sometimes when people make that connection and support you in ways, and when you reach out to them and they give you advice and help you out, it's always good to return that favor. And that, yet again, comes from having a good soul, your good core.
That's it.
And that's something I wanted to say to you before, that when you're saying about sometimes people putting on a pretense, I'm telling you now, I've done some tough characters, and it's hard to just sustain that for 2 hours. So don't be someone else, man. Just be you. Like, just be you. Have your good intentions and do that, because whether it's a year, 6 months, 10 years, people will see through it at some point. You will show your true colors. So be who you are, man. You know, this is Colourful Radio Show. Whatever color you are, whatever shade you are, put it out there and give that to people. And that's another way of doing that, because sometimes when people have those obstacles, they think, I need to change this, I need to change that. Especially now the industry's become so image conscious. I can't change my look. Okay, I could grow my hair, I could dye it, but at my core, I'm still me. So be you. And the thing is how I see that is, I see that as an advantage. The fact that you're Greg is an advantage, because no one can walk in this room and talk like you, sound like you, have your brain. So, and someone's going to want that. That's why you're in that chair. You know, someone's going to want you to do that mentoring for them. And you just got to keep putting it out there as you, rather than as, oh, I'll be like this, or, oh, J Hus made an album and it's gone to number one.
So let me do that and emulate that.
I'll be M Hus, you know, it's just like, it's not.
He said M Hus. I don't kill me, actually.
It's just not.
He said M Hus. Oh my goodness! But it's real talk, though.
It's not gonna work.
Even though we're laughing at that, that's what people tend to do, because they jump on the next crave, the next thing. You know, they change their whole modus operandi because they see someone else has made success. But that's just their time, you know. And there's things that you can learn from that, but don't change who you are in order to do that, because when success comes looking for you and knocks on your door and you're not there because you're M Hus, you've missed out on that opportunity. Because it comes and knocks on everyone's doors at different times. Sometimes you just have to be patient, take your time and keep yourself active, like you said as well, and your time will come. But when it comes knocking on your door and you're M Hus, you've lost it.
It's not. It's just not gonna. It's not gonna work, man. And it's true, man, for me. You know, I know you're laughing, but I think it's really true.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is sometimes we come up against obstacles because we may see our peers, whether that's someone you went to school with, a friend of yours, a cousin, whatever, and you see them succeeding and you're thinking, why is it not happening for me? And then you start comparing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go, I don't compare. I do compare. We are all competitive, especially creative people, because we do want to be the best. And that's a great skill to have and a great attribute to have. But what I would say with that is when you compare and you're thinking, well, why am I where they are? Because I'm not them and they're not me. Remind yourself, this is my journey. That's it. The only person I'm racing against in this marathon is myself. Me. Yeah, man. You look in the mirror, you're the only person you're competing with.
And it's a marathon, like you said as well.
It's not a sprint. Marathon. People trying to do this thing and I'm going to bust next month. I'm going to bust this year. I'm going to bust this year. This year I'm going to do it. It's just, stop, man. Yeah. Like, and people go to me, oh, how did you get to this? How did you get? Years of work, man. Yeah. Years of work.
And it's built up.
I've built it up and I'm still building it.
Up. That's it.
I probably haven't even touched the second floor. I've probably just done, the ground installation and I'm still trying to put those pillars in, you know? Yeah. So you've got to really think about it in that way, man. So that's one thing I'd definitely say to people. It's cool to compare. We do it and we just kind of check to see where we're at. But from that, then step and go, right, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing, and I'm getting here. And look at life, look at life as a learning curve upwards. That's what I try and do. If I have a no, then let me curve a different way. We're still growing. We just grow in different. Same way a plant will grow. Sometimes it has to turn because it wants the sun. It wants that real nutrient. And sometimes we have to turn in another way to get the real nutrients we need to proper blossom.
And I also like what you mentioned a long time or on the phone to me as well about how you turn your no's into yes. And you mentioned it earlier on as well, because when someone tells you no for something, it's yes for something else.
Absolutely.
So don't just focus on that no, that you are oblivious of the yes.
Yeah.
Because it's its counterpart. Absolutely. So if it's just like problems and opportunities, like I said as well, if there's a challenge, it's only an opportunity in disguise. So while you see the challenge, it's like half full, half empty. Absolutely. What is now the opportunity on the other hand? Because if you grasp hold of an opportunity, you can go out there and obviously seize the moment for yourself. Ashley, you've definitely shared a lot with us today as well. I didn't actually expect, to reason with you on this level, but because it's like, what does an actor know?
That's right. I'm well read.
But yes, Ashley, you also have a challenge for them as well. So what we're going to do is find out the Step Up Challenge of the Week.
Colorful radio.
Now, this is the Step Up Challenge of the Week, where Ashley's going to give you a challenge to take on this week as we are talking about learning how to live with no regrets and turn your no to yes. What's your challenge?
This is my challenge. It's called, because I thought it's the Step Up with Greg show, it's called One Step. That's what it's called. Okay, so my challenge for everyone is write that one step, and until you do that one step, don't write the next one. Everyone makes a list. Everyone goes, I've got 20 things I'm going to do. Yeah, and then it becomes daunting. Yeah. Write that one step, and then when you do that, tick it off and write the next one, and then do it. It's called One Step, guys.
That's it.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So one step, guys.
I love that, how he connected that with this Step Up with Simply Greg as well. So thank you very much for everyone who's been listening and locked in with us as well. As you already know, every Thursday we're here at 10 with Step Up with Simply Greg. So you can also catch us during the week via social media, which is at Simply Greg Show on Instagram, at Simply Greg Show on Facebook, and at Simply Greg Show on Twitter. Life is difficult enough as it is. Why make it any more? Simply Greg. Catch you next week.